It was a quiet night on the outer edge of Mars. Dr. Elias Rayner sat alone in his small space clinic. The soft hum of machines and blinking lights were the only signs of life. He was reading an old Earth novel, sipping cold tea, when the ground suddenly shook. A loud alarm rang. Outside the window, a massive alien ship crashed into the red sands with a fiery explosion. Elias ran outside. Dust filled the air. The ship door hissed open and alien guards in glowing armor jumped out. They shouted in a strange language, carrying something or someone between them. A female alien. She was limp. Her skin was a strange, soft silver, her eyes barely open. She was beautiful, glowing, but dying fast. "Doctor, help her," one of the guards yelled in broken English. Elias rushed forward. "What happened?" "She is Princess Zalara, daughter of King Zorvek. Poisoned. No one can cure her." Elias froze. The King of Zetherian? That was one of the most feared alien rulers in the galaxy. If he failed, he could die. But he looked at the princess again. Her breathing was shallow. Her hand twitched. He could not walk away. "Bring her. Inside. Now," he ordered. Inside the clinic, Elias worked fast. He scanned her body. Her blood was thick with a strange black substance, definitely poison, but it wasn't from Earth. It was from a rare plant found only on toxic moons. His machines didn't recognize the poison, but Elias had studied alien biology in secret. He had a few tricks left. "She has 10 minutes, he whispered to himself. The guards watched him like hawks. One of them reached for a weapon when Elias picked up a strange earth root. "This is not your technology," the guard said. "It's better," Elias replied. "Trust me. Or she dies." He crushed the root into a liquid and injected it into her neck. For 10 long seconds, nothing happened. Then, her eyes opened. The princess gasped, her chest rising as if life rushed back into her body. The guards fell to their knees in shock. "She breathes. She lives!" Elias stepped back, sweating. "She needs rest, but she will live." At that moment, a loud voice came from the ship's communicator. Deep, powerful, like thunder. "This is King Zorvek." The guards turned the volume up. "McGeeum, daughter lives. The human, he has saved her. He has saved my only child." The voice paused. "Prepare the human. Bring him to me. He shall receive the reward." The communicator cut off. Elias frowned. "What reward?" The guards only looked at each other. "You will know soon," one said. Later that night, Elias watched the princess sleeping peacefully in the medical pod. Her breathing was calm. Her silver skin had a soft glow now, no longer pale and cold. He still didn't know what kind of poison it was, or why she was alone with guards. But one thing was clear. This was not a normal case. It was royal. Political. Dangerous. A message arrived in his terminal. "Transport ship arrives in 6 hours. You will travel to the throne world of Zetherian. Refusal means war." Elias sat down slowly. He looked at his small clinic, the book he was reading, the cup of tea now cold. His life was about to change forever. Outside, the alien ship hummed, in the sand, waiting. And somewhere far across the stars, an alien king was preparing a reward so strange, so shocking, that Elias could never have imagined it. The stars looked different from the windows of the alien ship. Dr. Elias Rayner sat quietly in the corner of the royal transport, hands resting on his knees, but his heart pounding like thunder. Around him, alien guards in silver armor stood like statues. Their eyes glowed, but their mouths said nothing. He was a guest, but also a prisoner. No one had told him where he was going. No one had told him what the reward would be. Only one message kept playing in his mind. Refusal means war. He wasn't just traveling to an alien world. He was flying straight into the heart of a powerful empire. After several hours, the ship slowed. The window blinked white as it moved through clouds thick like cream. Slowly, a massive planet came into view, Zetherian, home of the great King Zorvek. Elias pressed his face to the glass. The planet was nothing like Earth. It had 3 suns, 2 moons, and glowing rivers that flowed through black mountains. Cities floated in the sky, and giant towers shone with golden light. Huge alien birds circled in the skies. But more than beauty, there was fear. All the buildings had weapons. All the roads had guards. Even peace here had teeth. The ship landed on a long, glowing platform. Thousands of alien soldiers stood in rows on both sides. As Elias stepped out, all their heads turned toward him. None of them smiled. One soldier whispered, "He is the one who saved the bloodline." The others nodded, but still looked at Elias like he was an insect. He was taken through wide crystal halls where alien nobles floated in cloaks of light. Some bowed, others hissed. He passed a group of alien doctors in long coats. One of them, with 6 glowing eyes, laughed softly and said, "Let's see how long the human survives." Elias said nothing. Finally, giant golden doors opened. He stood in a massive hall. The ceiling was so high it disappeared into fog. At the far end sat a massive throne made of burning stone. Upon it, King Zorvek sat. He was larger than life, muscles like metal, skin like carved ice, eyes like burning stars. On his head, a crown that hovered without touching him. The king stood slowly, his voice shaking the room. "You are Elias Rayner, a doctor from Earth." Elias bowed slightly. "Yes, Your Majesty. You saved my daughter when the best minds in my empire failed." The king walked toward Elias, each step echoing like thunder. "For that I must reward you, but tell me, what does a human desire most? Gold? Ships? A planet of your own?" Elias took a deep breath. "I didn't save her for a reward," he said. "I did it because she was dying." The king stared at him. "Interesting. You speak like one who does not understand power. But that is what makes you useful." He raised one finger. "Bring her," he commanded. The doors opened again. Princess Zalara entered, dressed in a glowing robe of silver threads. Her eyes were cold, but alive. Her walk was proud. Her face had healed, but something inside her still burned. She stood beside her father, arms crossed. The king turned to Elias. "You saved my daughter's life, but now she is yours." The hall fell silent. Elias blinked. "What? What do you mean?" "I give her to you," the king said, "as your bondmate, your royal companion, your reward." Solara's eyes flared. "Father, I am not some prize to be passed around." The king raised a hand. "You owe him your life." "I did not ask to be given away," she shouted, "especially to a human." Elias stepped back. "This isn't necessary. I never asked for this." "You cannot refuse," the king said simply. "To reject the king's reward is to reject the king himself." The guards raised their weapons, not at Elias, but at each other. Something was wrong. Solara turned toward Elias, her voice sharp. "If you want to live, doctor, to play along." Then she grabbed his arm. "We accept." The king smiled darkly. "Then let the bond begin." Later that night, Elias and Zalara were placed in a private royal chamber. No guards, no escape. One bed. 2 cups of glowing wine. Elias sat in a corner watching the alien princess. "You didn't have to lie," he said quietly. She looked at him. "I lied to protect you. You have no idea how dangerous this palace is. Someone poisoned me before. They might try again." He frowned. "Who?" She looked away. "Someone who wants the throne more than me." Elias stared out the crystal window, mind spinning. This was no reward. This was a trap. A loud crash echoed inside the royal chamber. A golden cup hit the wall and shattered into glowing shards. Princess Zalara stood at the center of the room, her fists shaking, her silver skin glowing brighter with anger. "I am not a reward," she shouted. Dr. Elias Rayner didn't move. He sat on the edge of a curved crystal bench, his hands folded in front of him, calm but alert. "I know," he said quietly, "but that's what your father thinks I am too." Zalara turned sharply. Her eyes burned. "He thinks I owe you my life, and that means I belong to you now?" Elias looked up at her. "I didn't ask for you. I didn't even want a reward." She paused, then said bitterly, "But you didn't refuse it either." He sighed. "I couldn't. Refusing would have meant war, or death. Maybe both." They stared at each other. Silence grew between them. A cold silence filled with confusion, pride, and something deeper neither of them wanted to name. Later that night, a soft sound woke Elias. Click. It was a strange sound, metal touching metal, quiet, precise, meant to be hidden. He stood up slowly and looked around. Zalara was gone. The door to their chamber was slightly open. He stepped through carefully, bare feet on the smooth floor. Then he saw her. She was at the edge of the hallway, crouched behind a column, holding a small black dagger that glowed with green light. A shadow moved. Nearby, another alien, tall, masked, carrying a long needle. Assassin Zalara jumped first, catching the attacker off guard. The two figures wrestled silently. Elias ran forward without thinking. He grabbed a heavy metal bowl from the wall and slammed it into the masked figure's head. The attacker fell with a crack, unmoving. Zalara stood, breathing hard. "You helped," she whispered. Elias nodded. "Of course." She looked at him differently now, not like a gift. Not like a stranger, but like a partner. Later, guards removed the body. The royal chamber was sealed, and new security was posted outside. Zalara sat near the fireplace, watching the flames dance. Elias sat beside her. "I think," he said slowly, "that someone really doesn't want you alive." She nodded. "It's not the first attempt." "Then why didn't your father do more to protect you?" She didn't answer at first. Then she said, "Because in his world, if you're too weak to stop your enemies, you don't deserve to rule." Elias shook his head. "That's insane." She smiled a little. "Welcome to the throne world." The next day they were summoned to the royal mind chamber. It was a place where thoughts could be heard, where no one could lie. The king stood inside, guarded by his elite, and beside him was a tall alien noble with sharp green eyes. "This is my nephew, Lord Velzar," the king said. "He is to test the bond." Zalara's face turned pale. Elias leaned close. "What does that mean?" "It means," she whispered, "he's going to read our emotions. If he senses we are lying about the bond, he will expose us." Lord Velzar stepped forward. He placed one clawed hand on Zalara's head and the other on Elias's shoulder. "Close your eyes," he said. They did. For a moment, there was silence, then pain. Elias saw flashes of Zalara's life, her training, her battles, her anger, her loneliness, and she saw his dying mother, his long nights in the clinic, the first time he healed someone with no reward. Their hearts touched, only for a second. Lord Velzar pulled away. He looked surprised. "Bond," he whispered. "It is real." The king raised an eyebrow. "Interesting," he said. "Very interesting." Zalara and Elias said nothing, but both of them knew. Something had changed. That night, back in the royal chamber, Elias stood by the window. The stars outside were bright, but his thoughts were darker. "This is more than politics," he said aloud. "Someone is planning something." Zalara joined him. "There's a shadow in the court," she said. "It's not just about me. My father is in danger too. And now, so are you." She looked at him, more serious than ever. "If you stay here, you may not survive." Elias looked into her silver eyes. "I saved you once. I won't stop now." For the first time, she smiled. A real smile. But in the distance, a silent figure watched them from the shadows, eyes glowing, hands ready. The game had just begun. A soft chime echoed through the chamber. Elias sat up from the sofa where he had fallen asleep. The room was dim, lit only by the blue glow from the alien fireplace. The chime rang again. A small crystal had appeared under the door. He walked over and picked it up. It wasn't a decoration. It was a message. He tapped the side like Zalara had shown him. The crystal warmed in his hand, and a whisper came through. Just 2 words. You're next. The next morning, Elias and Zalara were silent as they walked the palace gardens. Tall red trees swayed in the warm wind and strange birds flew above them, singing soft songs, but neither of them smiled. Elias showed her the crystal. Someone inside the palace sent this, he said. Zalara took it, examined it, then crushed it in her fist. These crystals are made only in the inner court. That means it came from someone close to the king. Elias nodded. We need to find out who. Just then 2 royal guards approached. They bowed but did not smile. Dr. Q, Elias, the king requests your presence. Alone. Zalara stepped forward. He goes nowhere alone. The guards hesitated. The king insists. Elias was taken to the lower levels of the palace, dark halls built from black stone and filled with strange glowing plants. It felt more like a cave than a palace. He was led into a wide circular room. The king sat in the center, meditating beside a shallow pool of silver liquid. I see you received the message, the king said without looking up. Elias stepped closer. You knew? I sent it. Elias froze. Why? To test you, the king said, to see if you would panic or plan. The king stood and faced him. My court is full of liars, traitors. I know someone tried to poison Zalara. Now they plan to kill me, and perhaps you. Elias was silent. I need someone outside my blood to uncover the truth, the king continued. Someone unexpected. Someone human. He stared at Elias. You will pretend to be weak. Play the fool. Let them think you are nothing, Elias asked. And if I fail? The king smiled, sharp and cold. Then you will die. But so will my enemies. Back in the royal chamber, Zalara listened carefully as Elias told her everything. He's using me, Elias said. I'm bait in a trap. Zalara folded her arms. Then let's make sure you bite back. That night, they hosted a small dinner in their chamber. Only a few guests were invited, nobles who had shown interest in Elias, and who might know more than they admitted. They all arrived dressed in gold and gems, smiling politely but watching closely. One of them was Lord Velzar, the king's nephew who had tested their bond. He raised a glass. To the healer from Earth who has now become one of us. The others raised their glasses too, but Elias didn't drink. Instead he asked, what do you all think of the king's decision to join Earth and Zetherian? Silence. Then a noble woman laughed lightly. Oh, a bold move. But who would want peace with humans? No offense, Doctor. Lord Velzar chuckled. Perhaps he is just trying to distract us, while real threats grow in his shadow. Zalara leaned forward. You sound like someone who knows those threats well. Velzar's eyes narrowed. Just an observation, princess. But Elias saw it. The twitch in his fingers, the sweat on his glass. Fear Velzar was hiding something. After the dinner, Zalara locked the chamber door. I saw it too, she said. Velzar is lying. Elias sat down. He's connected. We just need proof. Then as they spoke, the lights flickered. Outside the door, screams echoed. A guard burst in, face pale. Your Highness, the king has been attacked. They rushed to the throne hall. The king lay on the ground, coughing. His armor was cracked. His chest glowed with green light, the same poison that once nearly killed Zalara. Alien healers surrounded him, but none dared touch him. Elias knelt and checked his pulse, still alive but weak. He turned to the guards. Seal the palace. No one enters or leaves. Zalara looked around. Who did this? A guard spoke. Someone in the court disabled the king's protection field. Only a royal bloodline can do that. Zalara's eyes turned cold. Velzar. Back in the chamber, Elias and Zalara formed a plan. They would expose Velzar, but not by force. They would trap him with the one thing he feared most: truth. Tomorrow, a royal ceremony would take place. All nobles would attend, and Elias would use it to uncover the real traitor in front of the whole empire. But as he closed his eyes that night, he felt something strange in his pillow. Another crystal. This time, the message said, "You were warned. Now you die tomorrow." The royal sun rose over Zitharion, painting the sky in 3 different colors: deep violet, bright orange, and a soft golden white. Inside the palace, the air was tense. Everyone was waiting for the royal light ceremony, where all noble bloodlines swore loyalty to the throne. But this time, something different was planned, something dangerous. Elias stood by the mirror, adjusting the strange ceremonial robe they had given him. It shimmered with symbols he couldn't read and glowed faintly with every heartbeat. Behind him, Zalara entered the room, dressed in royal armor, not silk. "You're not wearing a dress?" he asked with a weak smile. "I'm not a bride," she replied. "I'm a shield." She stepped closer. "Are you sure you want to go through with this? If your plan fails, Velzar won't just kill you, he'll humiliate you in front of the galaxy." Elias met her eyes. "I didn't come this far to stay quiet." Zalara was silent for a moment. Then she said softer now, "After today, you may not be just a doctor anymore." He smiled faintly. "I was never just a doctor, not to you." She looked away quickly, hiding the way her cheeks glowed a little brighter. The throne hall was full. Thousands of nobles in glowing robes and armor stood beneath the floating chandeliers. Energy banners floated above them. The walls were guarded by living statues, creatures that moved only when danger came near. At the center, King Zorvek sat weak but alive, guarded closely. His face was pale. His power was fading. Lord Velzar stood proudly in front of the crowd, pretending to protect the throne. Elias and Zalara walked forward together. Gasps spread across the hall. "Is that the human doctor? Why is the princess beside him? What game is this?" Elias stepped onto the glowing royal platform. Velzar frowned. "This is a sacred event. Why is a human speaking?" Zalara answered loudly. "Because this human saved the future of our empire twice, and now he will save it again." Velzar laughed. "From what? Ghosts?" Elias raised his voice. "No. From the poison you used." The entire hall went silent. Velzar's eyes narrowed. "You accuse me without proof?" Elias held up a small device. This was in the king's robes. A microneedle with your family crest hidden in the circuit. It contains the same toxin that nearly killed Princess Xalara. Gasps turned into angry whispers. Velzar's voice was sharp. "Lies." Xalara stepped forward. "Then stand in the chamber of light. Let the truth be seen." The chamber of light was an ancient relic of their people. It used living crystals to show truth by reading thoughts and emotions. No one could fake it. No one could lie inside. Velzar hesitated, then smiled. Gladly, they entered the chamber. Zalara and Elias stood on one side, Velzar on the other. A single light dropped from above and split into 3 beams, one to each of their hearts. The crystals began to hum. Velzar's smile started to fade. Dark colors swirled in the crystal near him, red for rage, black for betrayal. Then a scene appeared in the light, a memory. Velzar holding the poison injector. Velzar speaking with cloaked figures. Velzar watching as the king coughed, smiling from the shadows. Screams erupted outside the chamber. Guards drew their weapons. Elias turned to the crowd. Let the galaxy see who the real traitor is. The king's voice came through weak but firm. Velzar, you are no longer of my blood. Velzar tried to run, but the living statues moved. They grabbed him in midair and dragged him to the floor. The nobles cheered. Others cried. The empire had nearly been stolen from within, and a human had stopped it. Later that evening, Elias stood on the royal balcony alone. The sky glowed with the triple sunset. Below, the cities of Zetherian lit up in celebration. Solara stepped beside him. "You were brave," she said softly. He shook his head. "I was scared the whole time. But you still did it." "That's true courage." They stood in silence for a while. Then she spoke again. "My father is naming you Protector of the Crown. It's the highest title a non-royal can receive." Elias turned. "What does that mean?" "It means—" She hesitated. "You belong here now." Elias looked at her carefully. "And do you want that?" Solara didn't answer with words. She stepped closer, took his hand, and didn't let go. Far above them, hidden in a floating city, another figure watched through a glowing screen. "You saved the crown, Doctor," a quiet voice whispered. "But the game is not over yet." The twin moons of Zetherian hung low in the sky, casting silver and blue light over the royal gardens. Trees whispered in the wind, glowing flowers opened their petals, and the stars shimmered like fireflies. But Elias couldn't sleep. He stood, barefoot on the cool marble of the balcony, staring out into the alien night. Somewhere out there, his world, Earth, still spun quietly. So far, so small. Behind him, the soft sound of a door opening broke the silence. Solara stepped outside, her long braid glinting under the moonlight. She didn't say anything at first. "You're thinking about leaving," she finally said. Elias didn't look at her. "Yes." A long pause. "Because of Earth?" she asked softly. "Because of everything," he replied. "I'm not meant for this. I'm not royalty. I'm not a soldier. I'm just a man who helped someone once." She walked closer. "You helped more than someone. You saved the empire." Elias shook his head. "I didn't come here to play king. I just wanted to save lives." Solara's voice dropped. "And now you're saving mine again. By walking away?" He turned to face her. "I'm not running." "Yes, you are." She stepped closer, her voice cracking for the first time. "You think I'm strong because I wear armor. But I was dying. You brought me back, not just my body, but my will." Elias looked at her in silence. The moons above them glowed brighter now, as if listening. He whispered, "I'm scared." She nodded. "So am I." They stood there, two people from different stars caught between duty and desire. The next morning, Elias was summoned to a new meeting, but this time, it wasn't by the king. An Earth ambassador had arrived, the first human Elias had seen in months. Ambassador Rowe stood tall in a polished suit, his face unreadable. "You've made quite a name for yourself," he said. "Protector of an alien crown, consort to a princess, friend to a feared king." Elias stayed quiet. Rowe continued, "Earth is worried. You're too important now, too close to power we don't control." "What are you saying?" Elias asked. "We want you back." Elias blinked. "Back?" Rowe leaned in. "There's a fleet ready. We can bring you home. You'll be a hero, a leader, not someone hidden behind alien walls." Elias looked down. "And if I say no?" Rowe smiled coldly. "Then Earth will assume you've been turned." That evening, Elias told Solara everything. "They want me to return, or they'll see me as a threat." Solara paced the room. "So, now your people are afraid of you too?" "It's not about fear," he said. "It's about control." She stopped walking and looked at him. "Do you want to go?" Elias was silent. "I don't know." She walked up to him slowly. "Then I'll ask something I have no right to ask," she said. "Stay." He looked at her, eyes full of questions. "You don't owe me anything," she added. But if you stay, we can build something. Something no one has ever seen before. An empire, he asked. No, she whispered. A future. Suddenly, a deep alarm echoed through the palace. Red lights flashed. A guard ran in. Highness, Doctor, the outer defense rings have been breached. Zalara's eyes widened. Who is attacking? The guard hesitated. It's Earth. Elias stepped forward. What? That's not possible. The guard handed him a message. Return the human, or face our fleet. The king gathered his generals. Zalara stood beside him in armor. Elias stood just behind them, heart pounding. The Earth fleet hovered above Zetherian now, hundreds of warships, missiles armed, shields raised. They came for me, Elias whispered. Zalara looked at him. Then give them their answer. He stepped forward, took the communicator, and spoke. This is Dr. Elias Rayner of Earth. I am not a prisoner. I am not stolen. I am here because I chose to be. A long silence. Then a voice responded. Then you've chosen your side. A missile launched. The war had begun. The sky burned above Zetherian. Earth's warships filled the heavens like a storm, blocking out the stars. Their weapons were armed, their shields bright like suns. From the highest tower of the palace, Dr. Elias Rayner watched them descend, each one closer than the last. They won't stop, he whispered. They think I'm lost. Beside him, Princess Zalara stood in silver armor, her face calm but her eyes shining with fear and fury. Then we'll show them, she said. You're not lost. You're home. Inside the war chamber, the king coughed again. He was growing weaker by the day, but his voice remained steady. Human ships. We'll bring fire, he said. But fire means nothing to a united people. He looked at Elias. Will you stand with us? Elias hesitated. He looked at the hologram of Earth's command ship, the very place where he was trained, where his family lived, where everything began. I was born there, he whispered. Zalara touched his hand. But you became you here. The king nodded. Then, it is time. Make your choice. Outside, the Earth fleet sent another message. Final warning. Return the human doctor, or prepare for full assault. Elias stepped forward. He took a deep breath. He tapped the communicator and sent a single word. No, the attack began. Missiles flew through the sky like thunderbolts. Beams of fire sliced across the towers. Alien defenses rose up, plasma domes, mirror shields, and living cannons made of crystal and stone. Elias ran beside Zalara through the control corridors, issuing commands, healing the injured, dodging explosions. He was not a soldier, but he had become something more. They reached the shield generator tower just as a missile tore through the base. The force knocked them both down. Zalara stood first, bleeding, her arm burned. Are you okay? Elias asked. She nodded. I've had worse. Suddenly a voice crackled through the damaged communicator. Dr. Rayner, this is Commander Rowe. You have one last chance. Return, or die with them. Elias raised the communicator. I'm not just a doctor anymore. I'm a protector. I choose them. He crushed the device in his hand. Above the planet, Earth's fleet prepared for the final strike. Their AI targeted the capital. The countdown began. 9, 8. Then something impossible happened. A fleet of alien warships rose from the oceans of Zetherian. Giant floating cities lifted into the sky, armed and glowing. And behind them came smaller ships, cargo ships, healing ships, even fishing vessels, all piloted by alien citizens ready to fight. Every race on the planet had answered the call. Elias stood at the control center and watched the readings. They're not just defending the palace, he said softly. They're defending the choice we made. In a final moment of bravery, Elias and Zalara led a secret mission aboard a captured Earth cruiser. Their goal, disable Earth's Central War AI that was controlling the attack. The ship was a maze of metal and memories. Elias knew every hall, every screen, but it no longer felt like home. In the AI core, they were met by a squad of Earth soldiers. The captain recognized Elias and lowered his weapon. "Why are you doing this?" the soldier asked. Elias looked at him and said, "Because I found something worth fighting for." Solara hacked the control node. Elias injected a shutdown code, his old ID still hidden deep in the system. The AI blinked once, twice. Then all Earth weapons went dark. Across the skies, the battle stopped. No more missiles, no more fire, only silence. Back on Zetherian, the people cheered. The king, watching from the throne, smiled for the last time and closed his eyes. He had seen peace before his end. Days later, Elias stood on the palace balcony. His robes were now a mix of earth white and Zetherian, silver. A new symbol shone across his chest, a circle with a heartbeat and a star inside. Solara stood beside him wearing her crown. Not just a princess anymore, a queen. The people below cheered their names. He looked at her. "You sure you want a human ruling beside you?" he joked. She smiled. "I don't want just a human. I want you." And somewhere far in the stars, Earth watched quietly. No longer enemies, no longer rulers, just witnesses to something new. A future born not from power, but from a single choice made beneath two moons.